November is one of my favorite times of the year, and especially Thanksgiving. One of the reasons I think Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday is because it's a spiritual holiday and not necessarily a religious holiday. And I feel like Thanksgiving is so inclusive. And it reminds me of our oneness with each other. So that's special for me. My spouse, Eddie, and I, we celebrate our first date in November as well. And so when you're a gay man, you couldn't immediately get married. So we have 2 anniversary dates. That doesn't mean we were divorced either, okay? But we have two anniversary dates, and I'm really grateful for that. And so the other thing that I'm really grateful for is that in November it's my birthday as well. And so if you didn't know it was my birthday, I don't know how. Eddie put it out in the world 15,000 times. And so I really appreciate the love that he had behind that and did that. But, yesterday was my birthday, and so I am a meditator like most of you, and I get up in the morning and I start my day with some quiet time, just like you do. And I really wanted to look ahead at the daily word to see what my word was for my birthday. Has anyone ever done that before? Yes, you just cannot wait till you get there. And so I disciplined myself a little bit. I disciplined myself to wait until it was my actual birthday to acknowledge the daily word for the day. And yesterday, as I sat in my chair, I call it my meditation chair. Yesterday, as I sat in my chair and opened my daily word, it was absolutely perfect for me. Do you guys, that happens to you sometimes? It happens all the time, okay? So the word was let go, let God, and so a lot of letting go lately in my life, and let go, let God. And it says, I move to the rhythm of life as I let go and let God. And I was really grateful for my birthday. I will take that as opposed to the alternative right now. But it also was kind of mixed emotions for me. I was celebrating, and the sunrise was just for me yesterday. Did someone notice the sunrise? Oh, it was just absolutely beautiful. And it had my name. You didn't see it in the sky, but it was all over it. So it was my birthday. And I celebrated, but it was a different feeling this year. My sister Janice made her transition in September. And so I don't know about you, but obviously, but my parents are gone. And this was the first sibling that went. And I don't know if anyone's experienced, I know you've experienced that. But it's different. It's different. And it also draws me closer to my other 3 siblings. There were 5 of us, now 4. It draws me closer. And so I took the time yesterday to connect with my siblings and tell them I love them. And so I didn't mean to get mushy here this morning. Do you know what I mean? But that's so important, I think. And I would love to, if you ever have time and want to whisper in my ear, your experience of your first sibling moving on into the next expression of life. Well, that was not the lesson, but maybe it is, okay? Maybe it is. I want to share with you a few things. First of all, these are some things you might want to use around your Thanksgiving table this Thursday. Here are some Thanksgiving jokes to share around the dinner table. Here we go. Why was Thanksgiving soup so expensive? It had 24 carrots. That's why. Why did the turkey join a band? Because it already had 2 drumsticks, okay? And why did the police arrest the turkey? He suspected foul play. And what do you call a running turkey? Fast food, okay? Fast food. And then I could go on, but I have other things to talk about this morning too. So what do you call a turkey the day after Thanksgiving? Lucky. You call it lucky the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, my goodness. So You know, I heard a story recently. There was a very strong woodcutter, and he was asked to do a job by a timber merchant. And he got the job, and he was really good, and the working conditions were good. And for that reason, the woodcutter was determined to do the best that he could. His boss gave him an axe and showed him the area where he was supposed to work. The first day, the woodcutter brought 18 trees. "Congratulations," the boss said. Carry on, carry on." And very motivated with the boss's words, the woodcutter tried harder the next day, but could only bring in 15 trees. The third day, he tried even harder, but could only bring in 10 trees. Day after day, he was bringing in less trees. He says, "I must be losing my strength." He went to the boss and apologized, saying that he could not understand what was going on. And the boss looked at him and said, "When was the last time you sharpened your axe?" "Sharpen? I had no time to sharpen my axe. I've been very busy trying to cut more trees for you." The importance of sharpening the axe. I think that gratitude is what sharpens the axe. And I think that when life is not going as well as we want it to go, we've planned and we know it's going to happen, and then we get delayed with our building. Or the addition is delayed. Or we have a problem with our building. And all of a sudden, it's really hard to stop and find gratitude in that. And to sharpen the axe. And to look for the good in whatever's going on in our life. And yet, that's what we are called to do, to see the good. And as a result of some of the delay in our building, doesn't the structure look great this morning, by the way? Wow, goodness, people are already pulling me aside on the street and saying, "What's going on there?" But I say, come and check it out. But wow, guess what? It's just amazing, I think, that we look for the good in that. And already we have seen good as a result of that delay. We have seen good, and we will continue to see that good and not to be discouraged. So what's gratitude? If we went around this room and asked you what gratitude was, oh my goodness, some of you would say, "I have my grandchildren with me today." That's gratitude. Some of you might say, "My children are well." Some of you might say, "I am well." That is gratitude. Gratitude, my friend, definitely we have definitions. And Charles Fillmore, co-founder of our Unity movement, of course, gave us one. And he says, "Gratitude and thanksgiving are both necessary in demonstrating prosperity through divine law." Now, we could pause there and get different meanings of prosperity. You know where I'm coming from? I know you do, because I've taught it a long time. But prosperity, don't let your mind just go to money. And it's okay if it does. Don't let your mind just go to money. But prosperity is abundance, living in that flow of life, feeling good in the morning when you get up, being well when you get up. You can have all the money in the world and not have your health, and you will not necessarily feel prosperous. So I invite us to also, in that process of looking at gratitude, he says it's necessary in demonstrating prosperity through divine law. Be grateful to God and be grateful to the friends whom he uses to supply you. Sometimes we think God's going to drop coins from heaven, put them under my pillow at night, but no, we know where it comes from. God can do no more for us than God can do through us. And God can do no more for you than God can do through your friends and through divine ideas And we forget sometimes that our prosperity is divine ideas. And by asking for guidance, we know what to act on those divine ideas. And sometimes it's nice to check it out with another person that has more experience and maybe see if it's a divine idea. But those ideas come through you, and they come through me. Eric Butterworth, in his wonderful book on spiritual economics, if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it, Spiritual Economics. And he says in that book, it's to confer prosperity or happiness upon another. To confer happiness and prosperity upon another. And we must remember, as we talk about gratitude, let's remember that gratitude is not for God. God is not sitting up in a puffy cloud somewhere, waiting for us to say, thank you, God. So when we do that, it's not for God. God is too big for that. God is principle. God is law. Not necessarily sitting around waiting for our thanksgiving and our praise. Again, when we do that, and we say, thank you, God, and we confer prosperity on others, then we stay in that alignment and that flow of life. Also, sometimes we think that we have to have something to be grateful for. No, you don't. I know that may be a shock to some of you. You don't have to have anything to be grateful. You don't have to have anything to be happy. Because guess where it is? It's within here. He says to stir up that gratitude. Stir up that gratitude. So what does gratitude feel like? It's very related to happiness and joy. So whatever's going on, and regardless of what's going on out here, we, my dear friends, are called to stir it up and to feel that gratitude. Gratitude is not always an effect. And if you walk out here with nothing else this morning other than a joke, if you walk out here with anything else this morning, I want you to walk out of here knowing that gratitude is a causative energy. It is a causative energy. It is not just reactionary, it is also a cause. So when we get into that causative energy, then we begin to create different feelings in our life. And what happens, we attract, of course, by our thoughts and our words, but primarily by our feelings. So it's important for us to get that feeling of gratitude in our life. Important to give gratitude in advance of what we want to demonstrate in our life. Thank you, God, for life. You can be, and I was so grateful for that. I got that on my birthday. Thank you, God, for life. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I ask the question, my twin brother's having some health challenges as well. I ask the question sometimes, God, why him and not me? Does anyone ever do that? You don't have to raise your hand, okay? But I asked that, and I've got the answer. Because I'm here. And there's something else for us to do, for me to do. Something else for me to be in this expression of life. And there's a purpose for us. And it's so important to know that purpose. My sister, who made her transition in September, her work was complete. Her work was complete on this side. My work is not. Your work is not. I feel like I'm preaching. You know, it's like... Your work is not complete. Each and every one of you sitting in these chairs, you have a purpose. And God's sake, step into that purpose and be that purpose and be grateful that you are here, God. I am here to do something and be something in my life. I've been scrubbing some toilets lately. Someone that I care a lot about and said sometimes I shared to him, sometimes on Sunday morning I don't feel adequate. I don't feel good enough. Does anyone ever go through that? Oh my God. I'm working on it, okay? And he says, when you feel that way, Pat, while you're at church, you go into the bathroom and you scrub the toilet. And he says, you scrub the toilet to remind yourself it's not so much what you say, but that when you scrub that toilet, it reminds you that you are in service. You are in service to each other. So my friends, as we come together in a community like this, we can feel that gratitude and know without a doubt that we are indeed in service to one another. God works through you. God works through me. I wake up in the morning and I say, thank you, God, that I have all the power of you within me. In every cell of my body, I have all the power of God within me. And I am able to step into that flow just like you. And when I can't, I call somebody or go scrub a toilet. So today we are going to have communion. Common union. And so as we have this communion today, let's not only remind ourselves that we are one with the divine, that we are spiritual beings having this human experience, and the divine expresses through you and it expresses through me. Remind yourself that not only are you one with the divine, but you are one with that person sitting next to you. You are one with everything. As Mr. Butterworth would say, you complete the universe. You complete the universe. Your presence does that. So today we're going to, we serve communion twice with the elements. We call this with the elements. And someone says, what's the elements? Is it gold? I said, no, it's not. It's, the plates are gold though, kind of. But the elements are literally the bread and the wine. And so that's what we're going to offer. We do it twice a year at Thanksgiving and also at Easter. And I think it's a wonderful bridge between our traditional growing up and unity. We look at it a little differently as we serve this communion. Also today, you may have you have a sheet in your bulletin that says gratitude list. Do you have that right now? Okay, you have that gratitude list. Well, while you are waiting to come forward to receive communion, I invite you to write down those things that you are indeed grateful for. Grateful for. That's what I would like. And so I'm going to ask our ushers, does anyone need a writing utensil? Yeah, raise your hand, please, if you have writing utensils. The other thing I'm going to ask you to do, these are short pencils. Do not put them in the holes in front of you, okay? Because we have to get the tweezers and pull them out. So don't do that, okay? Okay, so if you have a writing utensil, that's great. I really would like everybody to participate in this. There's something powerful about writing it down and acknowledging those things that what you are grateful for. You must remember also that those things that you are grateful for, those things that you bless, they multiply in your life. They multiply in your life. So this is really important. And so I am going to